The fastest thing alive versus the Saiyan raised on Earth. Who wins between these two icons? Let's find out. Hey guys, it's your boy JK Debates, and today I am finally gonna be dealing with this topic that has given me such headache in the past. Sonic versus Goku. And it's not for the reasons you may think, because I am very sorry to say, Dragon Ball fans, but Sonic would absolutely just body Goku in every capacity. There was a whole period of time where every single versus matchup between Sonic and Goku was just an entire video of downplaying Sonic to the speed of sound, which is absolutely insane to me, but whatever. So, to finally put those arguments to rest, I decided to make this video. Now, let me make three things known. Yes, I know, I said I would upload this video a long time ago, but I couldn't because, well, anyone that is in my Discord server should know, link down below by the way, should know that the laptop I used to make my videos got into a little accident, and I had to waste all my money to fix it, just for me to realize that the microphone is still not working. So I had to find a whole new microphone that is compatible with my system, and I had to fix it myself. Second of all, I am going to be using RG Sonic for this scale. Yes, I know, usually I take these characters at the peak of their power, so you would think I would use Game Sonic. But no, because if I was to use Game Sonic, this match would be over in a second. I am sorry, Game Sonic completely speed blitzes, overpowers, and molests Goku. So that's why I'm going to be using Archie Sonic to level out the playing field. And 3, since I have already scaled Goku before in one of my past videos, I am not going to be scaling him again because I have a test to read for. Yeah, I don't think I have to say anything more. So if it seems like the scale I'm about to show you seems familiar, yeah, it's because I just took it from my past video. So yeah, with all that out of the way, let's get straight into this. But before we do, please remember to smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. So yeah, let's actually get into this now. Okay, so in the Battle of the Gods arc, which is where most of Goku's high tier scaling comes from, Goku while in Super Saiyan God was clashing with another god of destruction, Beerus, and their clashes were not only going to destroy the main DBS universe, but the entirety of the DBS macrocosm. Look, I don't know how to pronounce that to save my life, so let's move past that. The living world alone is already stated to be an infinite-sized universe. If you have any contentions with the living world being infinite, that's fine, I don't care. You can make a pretty good argument against it, but I don't know why you would, because it has really been stated several times over that the thing is infinite, but whatever. And there are other realms that are just as large or even larger than the living universe, which again is infinite. And all of this is contained within the Dragon Ball macrocosm. How do you say that? So this would already be a multiversal feat. But before you try to downplay this by saying stuff like, well, Goku and Beerus' clashes weren't destroying the planet that they were literally fighting next to, so this wouldn't be counted as a universal feat. First of all, that's wrong for like several reasons. Number one, it's stated by the narrator and the Grand Kai, if I'm not mistaken, that the universe and the macrocosm itself was going to be destroyed by these shockwaves. Even the Grand Kai, which is in the other world, a space that is detached from the living world, was feeling the shockwaves from the other world. But let's say you don't want to believe the Grand Kai. You would have to believe the narrator. Because the only reason why a narrator exists, especially in this context, is so that the writer or director or whatever is to convey information directly to the audience without using any vague wording they may have to use if they used a character to say these type of stuff. So no, this would still be a multiversal feat. Then you must be asking, wait, then how weren't they destroying the planet that was literally right next to them? I wondered that too for a while, but it's pretty easy to see if you read DBS. It's key control. Key control is the reason why these characters can, have universal AP, but still fights with a level of mastery that they don't destroy everything around them in a single punch. Key control is what literally every single character that has any form of scaling has in this verse. Even when Goku fails to control his ki properly, it's the main reason why the shockwaves were going to destroy the universe. He wasn't able to control his ki properly. So yeah, this is confirmed to be a multiversal feat. Okay, now that we have Goku's consistent 4 to 5 dimensional scaling out of the way, let's debunk some misconceptions a lot of quote-unquote power scalers make about the series and where it scales. For example, the scan I just showed to get the other world to 5th dimensional could scale literally nowhere, keyword being could, as structures like the hyperbolic time chamber have been referred to as different dimensions. That is the official translation. 2. The other world lacking the concept of time and space does not make it universal. Lacking the concept of time and space does not mean you are beyond the concept of time and space and its restrictions. That is illogical for multiple reasons. Let me give you an analogy that proves my point even more. By that logic, I could easily say that since I don't have sight, I am beyond the concept of sight. I don't have wings, so I am beyond the concept of flight. I do not exist, so I am beyond the concept of existence. You see how illogical that is? So it would be very dumb to assert this argument without further proof or context. And the context that many, and I mean many, Dragon Ball fans bring up is the scan that states that the other world is metaphysical in nature. Which, first of all, this comes from a non-canon board game. Listen to what I just said, non-canon, not non-licensed. You can be licensed but still not be canon. GT was licensed by Toei. Does that mean it's canon to the original Dragon Ball timeline? No. Actually, I can give you a lot of examples from a lot of different works of fiction that are licensed by the same company but are not in any way, shape or form canon. Even the Xenoverse games are licensed by Shueisha, or is it Toei? I'm not too sure on that one. But it's not canon. Just because this board game is licensed, that does not mean it's canon. And before you say that it's stated within the board game that it gathered its information from reliable sources, who are these reliable sources? Where did it get this information from? And the board game itself constantly contradicts itself. It literally has a map of the cosmology of Dragon Ball that contradicts the map that Toriyama himself made. If you want to argue that they got their information from Toriyama. It also states within their own map that the sun is bigger than most of the known universe in Dragon Ball? I'm sorry, when was this ever stated? It's also stated that Yama's table or chair is bigger than the sun. Once again, where are they getting this information from? And it was not proven or stated within the manga or the anime. It also follows its own multipliers with its characters. And you would once again have to prove why any of this information, if it was gathered from reliable sources, was valid. Like, where did they get this information from? Because some of this is just false. Like, look at what they describe heaven as. Heaven, it's gotta be big. There are lots of people there. That's it. And the biggest error they made in this whole diagram is that they mixed up hell for the universe. And the place where the Snake Way is supposed to be is in a completely different part of the map than where it should be. I can go on and on about why this board game is not reliable, and it has contradicted itself, and what we have seen within the manga and the anime. And once again, just because they are licensed and claim to gather their information from reliable sources, and I can see that they have really done their research, that does not mean that everything they say is true and canon. And also, even if we do want to take this as true, with the way they're describing the other world in this context, it would make more sense for it to not mean metaphysical as beyond the principles of space and time, and more of metaphysical as in spiritual or non-corporeal. Which takes me to my next point. Non-corporeal does not scale you to outerversal. I can't believe I had to say that. Just because you are a spiritual being, that does not mean you are beyond the physical world. You could be a spiritual being but still be contained, confined, and restricted by the third dimension or the concept of dimensionality in a whole. Being a spiritual being does not scale you anywhere. And just to prove that I'm not saying absolute bullshit, look at the map that Toriyama made and look at the map these guys made. Do they look at all similar? Now some would try to use Koyama's statements to try and back up their argument even more. But y'all have kind of shot yourselves in the foot with that one. Because Koyama himself literally made a statement replying to a Dragon Ball fan that asked him, and I quote, "I did not understand. What I want to ask is whether the afterlife is a world that is not bound by dimensions." And this Dragon Ball fan did not get the answer they were looking for. Koyama then says, and I quote, "It is a world that is severely bound by dimensions. The other world, that is scaled to outer versal, is severely bound by dimensions. The same man that claimed that it has an infinite hierarchy." That's interesting. And actually, here is just a quick slideshow of Koyama saying that he is not reliable when it comes to Dragon Ball. And all those statements he was making weren't even about Dragon Ball. It was about the real world, what he thought was going on in the real world. So yeah, that should clear up any misconceptions about Dragon Ball being outer versal. Like, the verse is complex multiversal. That isn't weak by any means. You don't have to be doing all this ratty shit just so you can say, "Oh, Goku Solo's fiction." Like, stop. But yeah, Goku would scale to 4 to 5th dimensional. So now that we're done with Goku scaling, let's get into Sonics. So in the original Archie Sonic cosmology, there is something known as the Precious Stone. The Precious Stone is a stone that is weaved from the dreams and hopes of various people from various dimensions. These dreams and hopes give it enough power to support the existences of extra-dimensional worlds. Extra-dimensional, meaning dimensions that have more spatial axes than the base 3 and 4 we have in our real world. So this would scale the Precious Stone to 5th dimensional. And the Precious Stone was not at the peak of its power at this point in time. So you could arguably say that it reaches 6th dimensional, but I would not be doing that in this video because that seems like a heavy wank. But this still isn't the power cap of the Archie Sonic cosmology, as some like to believe. Now, Ian Flynn himself, one of the writers for the Archie Sonic comics, confirms that there is an infinite multiverse within the Archie Sonic cosmology, which contains the imaginary world. The imaginary world and the Precious Stone are the exact same thing. I should have specified that earlier, but whatever. Now, outside of this multiverse, there is a higher plane of existence known as the Chaos Force. The Chaos Force is said to be a higher plane of existence outside time and space, implying that it has a transcendence of some kind to the base Archie Sonic multiverse. You could scale this to outer versal if you do some mental gymnastics, but I'm not going to be doing that here, and I'm simply going to stick to the Chaos Force being 6th dimensional. But you could scale it far higher, but for Goku's sake, I'm not going to be doing that. Now let's go back and go over some low level scaling, for those of you who don't believe in 6th dimensional Archie Sonic. Now, in one of the issues of the Archie Sonic comics, Sonic was launched to a distant galaxy by a device that was going to destroy his entire solar system. This would give Sonic some sort of solar system durability, or galaxy durability if you want to go there.
but this is just Sonic in his base form. One of Sonic's greatest foes in the Archie comics is someone that I cannot remember the name of, but he looks like a giant elephant. This character can destroy multiverse zones with his bare hands, zones being universes which are confirmed by Ian Flynn himself. And this character is able to destroy millions of them, but this character is still terrified of Sonic because of his super form, which is what we're about to get into now. Scale Archie Super Sonic, I really only need one scan, as Sonic was able to withstand attacks from a character known as Enerjack. Enerjack being a character that absorbs power directly from the Chaos Force itself. But Sonic was not only able to withstand attacks from him, he was able to brutally whoop Enerjack's ass. And Sonic was playing around it during the entire fight. This would scale Super Sonic to 6-dimensional very easily, so let's get on to Sonic Speed, which I also only need one scan to scale, as Sonic was able to move in stop time, which would grant him immeasurable speed. And for Sonic's hacks, I just have to reference back to the Enerjack fights to see that Sonic himself states that he's indestructible and invulnerable. So yeah, that would scale Sonic to 6-dimensional with immeasurable speed. So now that we're done with Sonic scaling, let's see how badly he whoops Goku's ass. Now, I don't think I need to tell anyone that Sonic here just completely destroys Goku in every conceivable way. Like, there is no universe where Goku even lands a punch on Sonic, talk less of touching one of his quills, especially if Sonic goes super. At that point, it doesn't even matter if Goku touches him. He's getting speed blitzed, out-hacked, and overpowered. I really wanted to stretch that out longer, but I think I've said everything that can be said. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I know this video came out very late and I'm very sorry for that, but there should be no delay on my next video, which will be coming out next year. I'm not gonna explain myself. Yeah, until next time, keep it busy.